Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Beyond the Cage. I'm your host, Jim Graham, and joining me today on the line, we have a special guest. He will be fighting Emmanuel Sanchez at Bellator 184 in the co-main event. He is Daniel Straus, and Daniel, thanks for coming on Beyond the Cage.
Hey, thank you for having me, bro.
Of course, in this fight, Daniel, you're taking on Emmanuel Sanchez, a guy known for his striking, has done a lot of training there with the Duke Rufus camp in Milwaukee. Is that really what you expect from him coming into this fight? Is a really well-balanced stand-up attack?
Yeah, I do. That's what he usually comes out with is fast, high pace, hands and feet. So, I don't expect anything less of him. And I think the same with me. Everyone knows me as a wrestler, but I've been a solid striker for the past couple of years. So, I'm gonna come out and try to strike with him, and not try, but I am gonna strike with him. So, I think it's already set up. He has a great kickboxing background. I have a pretty good kickboxing background, and I think it's going to be a fun fight for all the fans.
Now, early in your career, obviously, you were getting a lot of decisions, and I think recently, like you said, the evolution of your stand-up game, you've gotten not only more knockouts, but more submissions as well, especially with your great left hand. Do you feel as though Sanchez, a guy who hasn't really been able to put a lot of guys away, the fact that you have recently, that kind of gives you a little bit of an X factor in this fight?
No, not at all, man. Like what people don't understand is, a decision is still a win. Sometimes it's part of, you know, the game. It's part of competition. Who's tougher, who can push a guy to the end and still win. So I really actually see those decisions as, I don't see them as, any less than what they are. They're still wins. So, especially coming from a guy that's had decision wins, a lot of decision wins before, people, think you just can't get them out of there. But sometimes it's tougher to go the 15 minutes. We're top of the notch guys, top of the line guys. You just can't put everybody away. You know what I mean? So, like he's not going to be able to sit there and try to put me away. I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to still be there fighting. So it's definitely going to be one of those fights that I have to get in there and get the job done if I want to put him away. But I don't see him any less capable of fighting because he has decisions, and I don't see him any less of anything. I just think it's going to be a good fight, and it's a great fight for me.
Now, this will be a three-round fight. Is that kind of a nice change of pace considering how many five-round fights you've been scheduled to fight recently, Daniel?
It's the momentum as far as the fight goes. Yeah, it's good to fight a little three rounder, but mentally it doesn't do much for me, man. I'd rather still be in 5 round fights and pushing myself and testing myself and taking the easy route and taking 3 rounders. But it is what it is. I'll be ready. I am ready, and by the time the fight comes, whether it's 3 rounds, 5 rounds, 10 rounds, 12 rounds, I'm gonna be able to be in there, stay, and get the job done.
Now, I wanted to get your thoughts on this matchup before I get out of here. Another big matchup at 145, much like yours. Pat Curran and John Macaba will actually be throwing down the same night you take on Emmanuel Sanchez. Considering obviously your wars with Pat Curran and obviously Macaba is a guy who's really shot up the ranks as of lately. How do you think that one's going to play out between those two gentlemen?
How it's gonna play out, not sure, but I think it's one of those things. Pat's been out for a while. I think Moxley's had some good momentum. I'll definitely keep my eye on that fight. I think that's a fun fight to watch. Yeah, both of them are tough game opponents. Me personally, knowing Pat, knowing how tough he is, he's not going to go in there and just roll over and die. He's going to give this guy hell. So, I think this fight's going to be that fight as well. Is going to be a great fight, great matchup. Again, like I said, I'll be watching and waiting for that to go down. But this Friday, all I'm thinking about is me. All I'm thinking about is me and winning my fight, and then I'll pay attention to everybody else. But that fight, yeah, it's definitely going to be another fun fight.
He is Daniel Straus. As I said, he will be taking on Emmanuel Sanchez at Bellator 184 this Friday on Spike TV from the WinStar World Resort and Casino in Thackerville, Oklahoma. And you can also follow him on Twitter. It's just his name, at Daniel Straus. Daniel, thanks again for coming on the show. I really appreciate it and look forward to your fight on Friday night.
Big brother.
Once again, that was Daniel Straus, former Bellator featherweight champion, right here on Beyond the Cage.